This is Mr. Colby Canterbury,
And Mr. Brooks Gatlin.
and we're talking to you about the a cappella chorus and the senior wind ensemble trip to Disney World on March 2nd through the 6th on 2016. We're going to go through this kind of quickly so we don't waste a whole lot of time. On here on the screen, you'll notice the itinerary. Most of this is very up to date as of today. We have in there as the chorus will be going to Concert Festival that day. We're going to need them to bring all their luggage and everything. Come to the band room. That'll be the easiest place for us to bring everything. They will need to have that all together, and we'll load it up. And as the students will be going, the chorus will be heading to Concert Festival, and I'll have Mr. Gatlin talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Just this morning, Wednesday morning, we got our schedule for the festival. We're performing at 9:15, which is a little later than we wanted. So that means that a cappella students do not have to arrive to school earlier than normal. They can arrive and come straight to the chorus room at the normal start time for school. We'll take roll. We will leave school about 8:20, get to Colonial Middle, perform, and hopefully be back on campus at about 10, maybe 10:15, at which time we'll change out of our concert attire and load the bus just as quickly as we can.
And we'll try to get on the road as close to 10:35 as possible. And then we'll be heading to Valdosta. Thursday, we'll be heading to Disney World straight from there. And then we'll be performing at Give Kids to World Village. We'll talk about that here in a minute. On Friday is our performance day. We'll go over that as well. And then on Saturday will be a full day in the park. And Sunday, we'll be heading for home. So on this next slide, you'll see what to pack. We're going to have 3 bags that you will need. The first is the garment bag for the concert attire. That will just be your tuxes or dresses, along with the shoes and socks and everything that you'll need. That will be in a separate garment bag. Make sure it does have the student's name on it. There will also be 1 big luggage bag. We need to limit that to 1 big bag a person. Then they'll need a small bag for the first night. In this small bag, we'll need to have a change of clothes that they'll be wearing in the park for Thursday. Also, a green or red or some sort of Christmas shirt for the Give Kids to World performance that we're going to do on Thursday, and toiletry items that they may need for that night. And then they'll need some night clothes, whatever they'll have for that evening. As far as dressing, just make sure, be modest with your clothes. We don't need any short shorts, and we don't need any strapless things on top or anything like that. Be smart and modest on your dress. If you have questions, please email us or text us and let us know what you need. Next, our money. If you have a child that eats a lot, you may need a little bit more than this. If you have one that doesn't eat as much, you may need less than this. So we're shooting around between $100 and $150 for food, and anything else that your child wants to buy, that's going to be your call. But that's what we suggest as far as the money is concerned. The importance of time. Everywhere in the park, it's easy to get caught up in how big this place actually is. It's not like going from here to downtown. It's like going from here to downtown to West Memphis, to Bartlett, to Frazier. It's going all over the place. Disney World is a big, big, big place. And the students need to allow themselves at least 45 minutes to an hour to travel from one spot to the next. Also, our performance times are set. Every single performance time that we have is set, and so we cannot be late. If anything, we need to be early on any of that. The Give Kids to World Village is a wonderful village that is made up for those people who are important with Make-A-Wish. These are people who are choosing to come down to Disney World, Universal, and with their kids as a wish. We will go down there and perform on Thursdays. It is a Christmas every single Thursday. We'll perform there. The chorus will be performing and the band will be performing, and they need to wear something Christmassy, as we say here. They're going to be performing at 7 o'clock on that Thursday, and we'll be at 2 different locations. But it's a wonderful venue, and these kids are wonderful, and their parents are awesome too. And so we're going to be just filling their night up with great stuff from our Christmas sing-along and anything Christmassy we can do. Performances at Disney are going to be on Friday, March 4th. The a cappella chorus will perform at 2:45. The senior wind ensemble earlier than that at 12:15. On those days, we'll have a lot of times in what is called Disney Springs. It used to be called Downtown Disney. It is at the same waterside stage. There is a map and everything like that. Waterside stage is in the middle of Disney Springs. We'll have performance venues, and we have set times that we have to be there. And so we will need to just check the itinerary. It tells you everything about the times on there. These are some of the questions Mr. Gatlin will go over with you that were asked at the meeting.
Sure. Last night when we had our meeting, a few of the questions that came up that we addressed are, first of all, our concert attire. It's very important that students pack their concert attire in an appropriate bag, not just hanging loosely on a hanger to make sure they don't get damaged. If you don't have a garment bag, I have some extra ones that are cheap, $10 that you can purchase from me before we go. That's no problem. Let's see. Breakfast is only provided one day, and that's Thursday morning when we're in Valdosta. Every other day, breakfast is going to have to be bought by the students, or what I suggest is bringing a box of breakfast bars or something that your student can eat for breakfast and not have to shell out money every morning for breakfast. One parent suggested that you can buy Disney gift cards as an alternative to carrying cash. You can make the decision on that, whether it's something you'd like to do. For riding on the bus, students may wear sweats and clothes that are comfortable so long as they continue to meet the modesty guidelines, and still we ask for no athletic shorts at all. A good rule of thumb is that if the shorts don't have a button or a zipper, they're athletic shorts and they should be left at home. One question for the chaperones was, did they have to stay with students in the park? And the answer is no, so long as they're able to contact the students, they have their phone numbers, and they keep track of them whenever we meet up. They don't necessarily have to stay with each group of students in the park, but students do have to stay in small groups, no students running around by themselves. If your student is not riding the bus home, then that student has to be checked out in person by a parent. We can't have a student just say, "Bye, Mr. Gatlin, I'm going to meet my parent downstairs." We have to make sure that you're taking charge of your student so that they don't get lost.
You must sign out with Miss Gilrith, who will be at the buses on Sunday morning.
Yes. And the last question was the name of the hotel in Valdosta.
The Holiday Inn and Convention Center in Valdosta.
So, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email Mr. Canterbury or myself or Miss Gilrith. Our emails are listed there. And thank you so much for your help.